Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and to my latest maths games video. Obviously this is not something that I would normally upload to my channel, but given our current situation and my skill set from being a primary school teacher, I'm trying to upload a video every couple of days of ideas of simple maths games you can do at home while you're homeschooling your little ones. And these games will be aimed at Key Stage 1 children who are currently working at the Key Stage 1 curriculum, which is year 1, year 2, age 5 to 7 basically. You might be watching this video because you've just seen me do this particular maths game on my Instagram page. I showed this one on my Instagram and then I said if you want to see more, come over and watch this video. So hi if you're coming over from Instagram. If you're not, if you just are watching this video because you've seen it on YouTube, I will show you this game last of all. So the people who have already seen it don't need to re-watch it, but I will still show you by doing this one as my last game, if that makes sense. Okay, so the one I'm going to show you now is another place value game. So similar end goal to the game that I showed on my Instagram channel. It's really important in the Key Stage 1 curriculum that children understand what all two-digit numbers, you know, up to 100 mean, where they sit in terms of other numbers, you know, understanding that 70 would be much closer to 100 than 30, that sort of thing. Just really understanding what numbers mean in general. So there is a really easy game that you can do at home that can help practice this, and all you need to do it is a blank piece of paper with a blank number line. So I've literally just drawn a black line and I'm going to put 0 at this end and 100 at this end. Now when I do this at school with children, I will admit I use a much longer piece of paper. Obviously, these games are just so dependent on what you have in your house. If you have a much longer piece of paper, or you could even, like, why didn't I just sellotape 2 bits of paper together? I definitely could have done that. You could sellotape 2 pieces of paper together, because once I start this game, you'll see why the longer this line is, the better and the easier it will be for your children. So just to pre-warn you. So you've got your number line, and if your child is in year 1 or working at a year 1 curriculum, I would suggest you break this number line up a little bit before you start. Maybe place 50 in the middle, just so you've broken up a little bit for them, so it's not so hard to think about where their first number might go. Or you could even put in all the 10s, so draw in 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 100, and then it makes them easier to place the numbers. It depends what sort of level your child is working at, and you might not be 100% sure till you start playing this game. So if you start playing the game on a blank number line and they're finding it really tricky, just jump in and add in some 10s and see if that helps. So you will also need your 0 to 9 number cards. I have linked a link to print these in the description box, or you could just make your own, which wouldn't be very hard at all really to make these. I've seen people making them on their own at home, so that's good. So I'm just going to turn them all upside down, and you're going to ask your little one to pick up 2 cards to make a 2-digit number. So I've picked up an 8 and a 0. So first one I've made is 80. So you now need to have a discussion about where 80 might go on here. So talk about what you already know. We know that 100's here. We know that 50 is here. Let's talk about roughly where we think 80 might go. And then after a little bit of talking, they will decide where that number will go and they'll draw it on. So then you put them down. You might want to shuffle the cards a little bit, and they pick up 2 new numbers. So we've got a 3 and a 4, 34. So now we need to have a discussion about 34. So first of all, if you've drawn every multiple of 10 on there, obviously they need to find 30 and then think about where it would go. This is a bit more challenging because they need to think about where 30 might go and then about where 34 might go. So you might decide 30 will go about here, and then you want to go a little bit further on because it's going to be 34. So there's a lot of talking with this game, which is really good. So we're going to do another one, 21. So again, First of all, think about the fact that it's 20 something, so we know where 0 is, we know where 30 is. Where roughly will 20 be? About there, and then 21. So you can see if you were to do it on an A4 piece of paper, it will get a bit crowded. So the longer the piece of paper is, the better. But that is the real aim of the game. And like I said, there's lots of ways you can make this easier by just slotting in some numbers for them, so it's easier to work out where their numbers might go. So there you go, a really quick and easy game you can do with your little one, just to tick that box and say that they've done something mathematical today, and also it's practical. And from my experience, when doing something practical, that they are moving objects and doing it themselves, they are far more engaged and you get more out of them. Okay, the next easy at-home activity I'm going to show you is all about times tables. So as you will know if you have a child in Key Stage 1, excuse me, times tables are a huge thing that are talked about most days, something that they have to have really grasped by the end of their time in year 2. So really you need to be thinking about the 2s, 5s and 10s. They're the main times tables that are needed in Key Stage 1, and then also your 3 times table if you're in year 2 as well. So this is an activity that I like to do if we've got spare time, and this always gets a good reception because children love making books. They love feeling like a teacher, they love making a book. I don't know why, but it always goes down well. So something you can do at home is just make a times table book. So all you need is a piece of paper. I've just got a sheet of my printer paper. I folded it this way first and then this way. So I've got my front cover on the front. So what I would normally say if I was doing it in school is you can't do your front cover until you've done all your times tables inside, because otherwise they'll spend an hour doing a beautiful front cover and then they'll be exhausted by the time it comes to actually doing the times tables. So they've got 3 pages. Maybe they decide which 3 times tables they want to practice the most, and inside they can do 2 times tables, 5 times tables, and on the back maybe they can do 3 times tables. Okay, and then obviously you just want them to fill it out. So 1 times 2 equals 2, 2 times 2 equals 4, obviously so on and so forth. And they could just fill it out till the whole page is full on every single page. Then what I would say if I was doing this as a little keep busy activity is the reward at the end is you get to do your front cover. So then they can make a beautiful front cover about Leo, I'm just saying Leo because that's the name of my son, Leo's timetable book. They can colour it in, they can make it as lovely and pretty as they want, but obviously they've got to practice all their times tables before they can do that bit. So I know that sounds really, really simple, but by the end of that they will have practiced their times tables a lot, and you'll find that they'll be counting and saying it to themselves as they're writing it down as well. And then you've also got this to keep in the house for them to keep. If you're cooking dinner, just say, right, go and get your times tables, practice some times tables please. Just a nice thing to have around. And like I said before, kids love making books, love it. Okay, one more activity I'm going to share with you in this video. I've got so many more in my head. When you've been a teacher this long, and I now just do cover teaching because after having Leo, that's what I decided to do. So you really need a mental bank of keep busy maths games. So many more to come. So this one, I have put down my 0 to 9, you don't need the 10, 0 to 9 digit cards. Again, if you want to print these, they are linked in the description box, or you can just make your own. I've turned them down on the table. Now this game is all about counting on and counting back. So in Key Stage 1, all children need to be able to have a number in their head and to be able to mentally count on from that number and count back from that number. So that sounds really simple to you, but when you're 5, that takes quite a lot of thinking. So the way this game works is they pick 2 cards to make a 2-digit number, talk about what you've made 42. Right, you need to count on from 42. So what I always say is put 42 in your head, and I literally get them to put 42 in their head and then count on 42, 43, 44, 45. Let them go for about 10 or so numbers, then say stop, right, okay, can you count back? Put 42 in your head, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38. I know that sounds really simple, but it is harder than it sounds for their wee little heads, and it does take practice. So this is something really easy you can do at home. So do it again, make another 2-digit number. We've got 89. So put 89 in your head, and we're going to start by counting forward. 89, 90, 91, 92, 93. Right, now we're going to go back. 89, 88, 87, 86, and so on and so forth. So it's a really quick activity. If you just, I don't know, if you've had a really tough day, and we're all having them, and you think, God, we really haven't done anything today. I haven't got the brain power right now to do anything that takes more than 5 or 10 minutes. This might be the activity for you. And then you can just tick that mental box in your head and just tell yourself that they have done something to do with numbers that day. And really, like, they don't need to be doing more than one thing a day, I don't think. Like, a lot of parents have been talking to me and messaging me and saying that they're so worried about the fact that they're not having a full day at school, and I can see why. I mean, Leo's only nearly 3, so he's not technically missing school, but I would be the same. I would be worried, but honestly, just don't be. Like, we're in such a strange situation right now. It's hard to know how to take it, but I just don't worry is my main advice to you. If you're doing one thing a day, one thing to do with maths, a bit of reading, maybe a bit of writing as well, then hats off to you. Well done. That sounds like a pretty successful day to me. Right, now I'm going to quickly show you this place value game using spaghetti and Cheerios. Some of you will have already seen this one if you've come over from my Instagram page. So if that's you, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. If you don't know this one, then I will show it to you really quickly. So this is all about place value and knowing how many 10s and how many 1s are in a 2-digit number. That's a really important part of the curriculum. So to do this, you'll need your trusty digit cards again. So I'm going to turn these down. It's amazing how much you can get done with some digit cards, I tell you. There you go, and I have got some spaghetti and some Cheerios. Now, normally if I was doing something to do with this at school, we would use equipment like base 10 or Dean's. And you don't have those at home, you don't. So I was looking around my kitchen thinking, what will the majority of households have that they could use? So I decided that the spaghetti is going to be the 10s and the Cheerios are going to be the 1s. So this game is super simple. Your child has to pick 2 numbers to make a 2-digit number, and I have made 21. So then you need to have a discussion about how many 10s are in 21 and how many 1s are in 21. And they need to make 21 using the spaghetti and the Cheerios. So when they're doing the 10s, you always do the 10s first. When they're doing the 10s, they want to be counting the 10s as they go. So 10, 20. Then they need to add on the 1s, but they must count on from 20. So 21. And there you go, they've done their first one. They could take a picture on their phone or their iPad to show what they've done. Well done, put it away. And let's go again. So this time I have made 49. So talk about how many 10s, how many 1s. Always do the 10s first. So we've got 10, 20, 30, 40. Now when they're doing the 1s, make sure they're counting on 41, 42, picked a big number here, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. So there you go. Now if you wanted to make this a bit trickier, if you feel like your little one is up for an extra challenge, you could say things like, what if I added one more 10? What would it be then? What if I added another 1? What if I took away a 10? Just thinking about what deeper questions you could ask just about what you're seeing here. A lot of what ifs, basically. And yeah, it's as simple as that, really. And everyone's got this in their cupboard. So there you go. There are my latest at-home maths games you could be doing with your little one. I hope they're being helpful. There are lots more on my Instagram and on here. I'm trying to sort of split, so I'm putting some on there and some on here, so that I know everyone is seeing is seeing it, basically. It's hard to know which platform to use. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, because there are more to come. I will keep doing this as long as the schools are shut, just trying to help as much as I can, really. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video.